Hello, all you metalheads. This is Gina Ambrosio of Blasphemic Cruelty, and you're listening to The Ritual with Lady Death on Metal Messiah Radio.
So, hello everybody, this is Lady Death. Today the drummer of the American death thrash metal band Blasphemic Cruelty, Gina Ambrosio, is joining us to talk about her band and more. First of all, let me thank you for giving us a bit of your time, Gina, and welcome to my show.
Thank you, Lady Death. I'm very, very honored to be on this show, and thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. So, Blasphemic Cruelty is a three-piece out of Florida, was formed back in 2008. How did you all three get together?
Well, what it started was old style is Gene found me through a flyer that I put out at a place called Splattered God Records in Tampa, Florida. And he saw my flyer there. I was also advertising my flyers in Revolver magazine as well.
Yeah.
And I got calls from everybody all over. And Gene contacted me. He was the only one that was local.
Yeah.
So he got my flyer. He came over to my house. At the time I was living in Port Richey. He came over to my house and he auditioned me.
Yeah.
And he saw me play and he had me hear some songs.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to me, they were new Angel Courts material, and I didn't even know that.
Uh-huh.
So I started playing to that, and that's how it all began.
Alright, so you released now a full-length album in 2008 and an EP in 2015. How can you describe your music to the ones who don't know you yet?
I would say that our music of Blasphemic Cruelty is extreme death thrash metal. A lot of the influence, I'm a co-creator with Gene, so a lot of the influence came from me growing up in the 80s. Originally in Los Angeles is where I originated from.
Yeah.
And I grew up listening to things, the old things. First I was into rock and roll, Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and things like that. But then I got into, when metal came out, the speed metal, I was into Slayer and Metallica and Venom and Sodom and things like this I started becoming involved in, and also old hardcore punk, which would be Black Flag and Millions of Dead Cops and stuff like that. So I got into a fusion of that. So I was growing up with this, listening to hardcore punk and speed metal, and also influenced by old rock and roll, and also I would listen to grindcore as well. I need to mention that too. Later on when those were coming about. So it's kind of a fusion. My playing style is a fusion of all of that. And I brought that to Gene, and Gene also related to that with me. He knew and understood, of course, that these were also a lot of things that he was into, and we ended up forming Blasphemic Cruelty with our ideas together. So Blasphemic Cruelty is a fusion of that. You hear old school influence of old school thrash as well as today's death metal and blast beats as well. So it's kind of a fusion. You hear all that if you listen.
Yes. isn't really common to find female drummers, especially in the death metal field. How did you start drumming, and how do you feel of being kind of unique musician?
Well, there's a lot of musicians in my family on both sides of my family. So I grew up around music a lot at home. And I was sort of a tomboy growing up too. And I just kind of just started taking to the drums, not really taking it seriously, just banging on the drums around, 16 years old and just kind of goofing around. Yeah. Not really, thinking anything of it. So it was kind of in my blood already. And then later on in life, I decided to, take it further and do something with it. Yeah. And I did a brief time at a music school, but I've also had my friends used to come over to my practice room. Carmine Appice, who's everybody knows who Carmine Appice is, a famous rock star. Yes. Jay Sellen, Gene Hoglan, who was also somebody I had dated a long time ago in the past, and he also showed me some things. So I've got a lot. Nice. I have a lot of influence from either ex-boyfriends or just friends of mine. Oh, and nice. It kind of just, they knew that I had the talent. I just wasn't, I didn't actually do something with it until much later.
Yeah. As I said, your latest release was an EP, A Crucible of the Infernum, released last year. Why you didn't release a full length instead, an EP?
I actually wanted to release a full length, but Gene, he said he just wanted to do a mini for that. Yeah. And I actually wanted to do a full length, but he wanted to do a mini, and he was busy with his other bands. Yes. So he only had time to do a mini. So I said, okay, let's do it, because I wanted to get back to it.
Yeah. So you recorded a Sodom cover on that EP. Why did you choose to record a song for this band?
Gene wanted to do a cover, and I like Sodom and The Crippler and, things like that. And then we had a talk spoke with Alex Bloom about it, and everybody, they wanted to agree to do that song. Yeah. And originally I wanted to do an old, something else, but maybe a Dark Angel cover or something like that. But these, both of them, wanted to really go with Sodom. And I've always dug Sodom too. So that was okay with me.
All right. So you ever thought of having any guest musician?
No, not really at all, but it would be welcome if, with me, in my opinion, I would welcome it. So I don't know what the other guys would think about that if it was run by them.
Yes. So any upcoming shows to mention?
Well, I actually wanted to play the Hell's Headbangers Fest, and I wanted to do some things in 2017. Yeah. I spoke with Gene recently, And he said that he's so busy with his other bands that he said he doesn't really see anything happening in 2017 for right now. So I was kind of disappointed about that. So I am available to play, whenever these guys are available. I'm available to play with them if they're not busy with their other bands.
Yeah.
So in the meanwhile, in order to, so I'm not just sitting here, I, started to create and write with my husband Tear Instinct, which is going to be, a music project that will eventually be released later at a much later date.
Yeah, you told me about that. I'm excited.
Yes.
Yeah, so, well, we know that death metal old school started in Tampa, Florida, and it is a shame there is no festivals, like big festival over there. Is the scene over there really too small? And what is your opinion about the death metal scene nowadays?
I think more of the big shows and the big fest seem to be going on, like there's, the Maryland Death Fest or the other, types of ones in the U.S.
Yeah.
And from what I'm hearing, there's other, big shows, in other countries, Europe and other countries too.
Yeah.
I think that there needs to be more, even bigger metal fests everywhere.
Yeah.
In the U.S. as well, so.
So anything you would like to add?
I would like to mention sometime that on the underground scene, I did experience some male chauvinism from some guys and other bands on that scene.
Yeah.
And they didn't like it that a girl would come in and play on the same stage as them, and then, people would like that. So I did experience some male chauvinism, but I have more people that dug it than did not. So,
what did you do when you faced
that? Also, I'd like to mention I saw your video where you're doing vocals, and you do killer vocals. Your vocals, is it hemorrhagia?
Yeah, hemorrhagia.
Yes. You have really killer vocals,
Thank
and
you.
I think you're gonna go far with that.
Yeah, hopefully.